This is what my 1951 Chevy truck looked like only a few short years ago. And this is what she looks like today. A ratty truck, now called Flytrap. So many guys have asked me how this custom load bed, load bin, whatever you would like to call it, came about. Now it is actually a stir fry of Ford parts, and Beetle parts and Nissan parts, with a few other bits and pieces of metal thrown in as well. So whilst I did make a number of progression videos quite some time ago, what I did now was condense it into one single video so you can see how all this came about. Let's go back in time. I think I'm gonna be in trouble with the wife. I convinced myself that I could build back fenders for my Chevy using these Beetle front fenders. Now I'm gonna start building the load bin. I made 4 of these brackets from 6mm 1/4 inch material. And the plan is to use them for mounting the load bin to the chassis. So my bracket goes onto the original mounting point, and I'm also using the original Nissan rubber here. The square tubing will then go on like this. But why keep these frame-ons? Let's cut them off and build ourselves a short-ass truck, man. Okay, fully welded, bolted back into place, capped the ends of the square tubing. Now what? So I guess I need to start thinking about sides for my load bin. Something to this effect. Let's just see if we stick in this piece of cardboard. Let me spend some time in a thinking chair and ponder this business for a while. I just got an idea. Let's go hunting. I think this can work. Let's check this arch. Yes, man, I think this is gonna work for me. I'm gonna cut this piece out of here on both sides. There we go. Makita did well. There we go. Got you. Oh shit, I think my thing caught on the roof. Oops! It was sticking out too far and I forgot about the roof beam. But you know what? Nothing a hammer and a dolly won't sort out. What the hell? Is it going to work? Or did I cut up that poor F250 for nothing? Let's find out. So I'm just trying to balance it here. Maybe it works. Just hanging there. Yeah, something like that. So obviously it needs to come more forward. But I think we're going to be getting somewhere. Let's try the fender quickly. Something to that effect. This panel is now just very precariously balanced here. So I think I'm going to start by creating some kind of support here, even if it's just temporary. Okay, so I made up these, so we call them posts. They're just clamped in place. I can still adjust them, but I'm hoping that I can at least now rest my load bin side on top of it to fine tune things. Let's see how it's going to work. Right, so this can now stay in place. It can still move forward and aft, obviously, and I definitely need to move it more forward. So I need to cut a piece off of here. I'm going to use this block as a guide to mark my initial cut. It's about 4 inches, 100 millimeters wide, which is, I'm guessing, I might have to cut more. And by just resting it against the cab, let's start in the bottom. I can now make a mark that will be parallel to the cab. And then I can cut along that line. And when I move it forward, this line will be parallel to the cab itself. Let's try it again, see what we get. I've got my fender roughly in place, and just looking here, you see there's a gap here. So this load bin side needs to go forward some more, so I can close up this gap. So the Beetle fender still needs to move in that way quite a lot. It's catching here at the moment against the side. I need to cut it off here, probably quite a bit more, but I think I will only mess with that once this is in its final position. So I've already created an attachment point here. So I'm just going to see if I can get these bolts in, and then we'll see what happens in the back. So I think I'm going to actually be making quite a few cuts here to get this to fit. But let me start by just doing a preliminary, that word, cut here, and then we'll take it from there. So my paper template is not that wonderful, but what I did here is I faired out these curves by eye so that they're nice and fair and smooth. Okay, so my offcut is becoming a template. Let's just see how it's going to fit. So this side comes from my template piece. And then the other side here, that is just a thumb suck. I've just kind of created a smooth curve. I want to go fit it on the truck first and then see what will happen on that side. Might have to fine tune it a little bit. And there we have it, the fruits of my labor thus far. So I've got that in place. So I suppose now you're going to tell me I must do something here as well. So I've added this piece to suggest a continuation of that line there. Works for me. Another marriage of Ford parts and Chevy parts about to take place. So this fender is also unbumped. I've welded the Beetle right out of it. And now I've got to spend some intimate time with my trusty old friend, the grinder. So I finally got the starboard side done as well. And I tell you, the stuff I dream up. It took me hours to sort out this intricate business. But it's done. I got hold of a Ford F-Series bedside, some Beetle front fenders, and I stitched it all together to create what we have so far. Now, look at the back end. I need to fill in these spaces and build the tailgate. Okay, I got that finished. I even capped the end of my, what shall we call that little thing there? Molding, whatever. I've got it capped right there. So I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to be doing here. So I think next up, I'm going to build the tailgate. The bush will go into the end of the pipe. Nice tight fit, so I'm just going to try it lay loosely. Then the pin pushes through from there and then into the bush, and we will have a swinging tailgate. Step Step 1, I got my bushes into the end of the pipe on both sides. Okay, step 2, my pipe should now be a nice fit in here. Oh, look at that, man. That's a nice tight fit. So there's no rattles, but not too tight. I love it. And now I should be able to just push the pins in from this side. That's that one. And it's in as well. Look at that. That's going to be great. So my frame will now weld on like that. Obviously the whole thing. And then when it swings down, oh man, it's going to work very well. So this is my final dry run to check everything out. Everything looks great. Unfortunately, I can't weld it now because those plastic bushes are still in there and they will melt. So I'm going to have to disassemble the whole thing, take the bushes out again, then tack weld it together. Okay, let's check it out and see how this thing works. Oh man, check it out. And absolutely no sideways movement. Gonna be no rattles here. I tell you, the worn-out tailgate on my F100 drives me mad. But this thing is sweet, man. I love it. So I need something to stick in here now, and I haven't got any new steel, and this is the budget build, so I'd better go and scratch through the junk in my yard, see what I can find. Let's go take a walk outside and see what we can find. There's a lot of crap lying around. Every time my wife comes here, she wants to have a fit, then I tell her to go away. Can you see up there? Hidden amongst the trees. There's my Hudson that I recently got. Man, I love that thing. When I have to give it a place of honor very soon. Before we walk up there, let me just have a look through. Well, there's nothing here. Hey, let's go over there to the remaining Nissan parts. I used I'm using the frame from this Nissan hardbody for that current Chevy build. Maybe there's something here. Hey, how about this door? Maybe we can cut a piece out of this door here. I wonder if it's big enough. Let me get this thing here up on the bench so I can see what I can do with it. So it looks like I can get a big enough piece out of this door. Let me cut it out and see what we get. Anybody wants to see what the inside of a Nissan hardbody door looks like? Let me open the hatch. Good old Nissan door. Thank you for sacrificing your life so I can build a cool tailgate. A comparison of sheet metal thicknesses. 70s Ford F-Series 1.6 millimeter. 51 Chevy roof 1 millimeter. 70s Beetle fender 0.9 and 90s Nissan 0.9. Now why is it not working? Let me try again. Oh, hang on, it's not plugged in. Ta-da! So I've trimmed this plate now to fit inside this frame. And while that's easy to say, It took me quite a while to get it nice, to ensure a good fit. But I think we're pretty much there now. Okay, let's go try it, see what it looks like. What do you think? I've got some nice curvature here, some nice interesting profiles going on here. It works very well. I'm happy with it, man. Okay, I got a tailgate, but what am I going to do down here, man? How about I stick the spare wheel back into its original position and we see what that looks like. Sticks out a little bit, maybe about 6 inches, but it does add some interest. It can be the crumple zone. Let's explore this option a little further. And I think that's about the best I can come up with. At least now we're able to get it out so it's functional. I don't think this is too bad. I'm going to make this panel boltable so that you can remove it. So I think I'm going to give this a try. First test fit, doesn't look bad. I've got the seam line going down here, which I quite like. So I think I better go and make the opposing brother that fits on that side. So they still need to be joined in the middle, but I've got them bolted here on these 2 flanges. Down there as well. So I can take them off. Now I've cut myself a cardboard, hardboard template. For this piece that needs to go in there, I'm also going to need a piece for there. The Nissan door will donate this piece. Thank you. So with the door's capacity for donations severely depleted, it's time to look for a new donor. And what have we got here? Some rich pickings to be had, I think. Perfect for the piece I need. So this panel is now firmly in place. It's not bad. Down here I think the remaining bit of flex is caused by that. I can always put a little gusset in there. I might do that later on, but it's not bad at all. So I've still got a few details to sort out. Taillights. I need latches for the tailgate. I'm going to have to edge the sides of the load bed on the inside still. But this truck now pretty much has a back end of sorts. I mean, you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But I'll tell you one thing. When you drive behind this truck, you're not going to know what it is.
Much later.
And then I added some nice taillights, shiny rims, and a few other bits and bobs. A fake patina paint job. And that's what she looks like today.